Life is a magnificent gift, a fleeting moment in the vastness of time. Yet, most people squander this gift tethered to things they have no business being tied to. They become prisoners not of walls but of their own perceptions, choices, and attachments. If you wish to live fully, you must loosen the grip of these forces. Let us examine 5 of these forces that silently, persistently steal your life from you. First, the past. Too often we let memories define our present. The joy you long for, the possibilities you dream of, they all vanish when you keep dragging the weight of what was. The past is a shadow, it grows longer as the day ends, but you are not the shadow, you are the sun. Only by turning towards the light of now can you burn away yesterday. Second, the opinions of others. Isn't it strange how we let voices that are not our own dictate the direction of our lives? You were not born to fit someone else's mold. People may praise you today, condemn you tomorrow, it changes like the wind. But if you let this wind carry you, you will never find your true path. Be the mountain, not the leaf. The third thief of life is fear. Fear is a master of disguise. It can look like caution, wisdom, or even love, but it paralyzes. What you fear is not real, it is only a projection of the mind. The moment you stand still and look at it for what it is, it dissolves. You must choose courage. For courage is not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it. Next, attachment. We call it love, ambition, or security, but often attachment is nothing more than a golden chain. What you hold on to can begin to hold on to you. Whether it is a relationship, a goal, or an idea, if it limits your freedom to grow and evolve, it is no longer serving you, it is enslaving you. Let go. Freedom and growth require empty hands. Finally, we arrest the trap of false identity. You call yourself by a name, a profession, a set of beliefs, but none of this is truly you. These are roles you play. The real you exists beyond labels. The moment you stop identifying with the surface, the depths of life open up. A drop of water in the ocean is not separate from the ocean itself. The past is like a shadow, ever present but intangible, something that follows you as long as you allow it. Too many people live their lives chained to what has already happened, replaying memories, reliving regrets, and carrying the burden of unhealed wounds. What is often forgotten is that the past exists only in your mind. It is not a tangible entity, nor is it a force acting upon you. It is merely a collection of experiences, events, and emotions that once were but no longer are. Yet by holding on to it, you allow it to influence your present, shaping your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Dwelling on the past can distort your sense of self. You may start to believe that you are nothing more than your history, your mistakes, or even your triumphs. But who you are today is not the person you were yesterday. Every moment offers the possibility to redefine yourself, to act differently, to freshly, and to see life with new eyes. Clinging to the past denies you this opportunity. It ties you to a version of yourself that may no longer exist or may no longer serve you. The past can also be deceptive. Nostalgia can paint it in hues of gold, while regrets may color it in endless gray. Neither is real. What was simply was. The pain, the joy, the mistakes, the victories, they are all threads in the fabric of your life, but they are not the whole garment. To live fully, you must stop wrapping yourself in the past, no matter how comforting or painful it feels. To release the grip of the past, you must begin by understanding that it is over. It has played its part in shaping you, but it is not meant to dictate your future. Let go of the need to replay the old stories in your mind. When they arise, observe them as if they are clouds passing through the sky, neither grasping nor resisting them. Acknowledge their presence, but do not give them the power to control your now. Forgiveness is another key. Forgive yourself for the mistakes you've made and forgive others for the pain they may have caused you. Forgiveness is not for their benefit, it is for yours. It is the act of releasing the poison that clogs your mind and heart. allowing you to move forward unburdened. When you release the grip of the past, you reclaim your power. You begin to see life as it truly is, a continuous, flowing river, not a stagnant pool. By choosing to live in the present, you allow yourself the freedom to create, to experience, and to grow unhindered by the weight of what once was. The opinions of others are like passing clouds in the sky, shifting, changing, and often without real substance. Yet, so many of us allow these fleeting judgments to dictate our choices, limit our growth, and even define who we are. It is a trap, one that subtly entangles you until you forget to listen to your own inner voice. People will always have opinions about your choices, your appearance, your successes, and your failures. These opinions are shaped by their own experiences, biases, and insecurities. Rarely do they reflect the truth of who you are or what you are capable of. When you allow yourself to be guided by these external voices, you hand over the reins of your life to people who don't truly understand your journey. Living by the opinions of others creates a fragile existence. Today, someone may praise you and you feel elated. Tomorrow, they criticize you and you feel crushed. Your sense of self becomes a reflection of their ever-changing views, leaving you constantly seeking approval and avoiding disapproval. This cycle is exhausting and unfulfilling because it pulls you away from your authenticity. True freedom begins when you stop letting the opinions of others define your worth. This doesn't mean you should become indifferent or ignore constructive feedback. It means discerning between what is genuinely helpful and what is irrelevant noise. Not every voice deserves space in your mind. Listen deeply to yourself and trust your instincts, for no one knows your path better than you do. Letting go of the need for approval is an act of courage. It requires you to face the discomfort of standing alone, of being misunderstood or even criticized. But in doing so, you reclaim your power. You begin to make decisions based on your own values, dreams, and vision rather than the fleeting judgments of others. When you stop living for others' opinions, you also free them from the weight of your expectations. You no longer seek validation from them, allowing your relationships to grow more authentic and less transactional. You become a source of strength, not someone who demands reassurance. Remember, the opinions of others are their reflections, not your reality. What truly matters is how aligned you are with your own essence, how honestly you are living your life, and how deeply you are pursuing what fulfills you. The moment you let go of the need to be defined by others is the moment you begin to truly live. Fear is a master illusionist, is a minded nine that seems so real, yet often have no basis in reality. It paralyzes, convinces you of limitations that do not exist, and blinds you to the immense possibilities of life. Fear thrives on uncertainty, feeding off the unknown, magnifying it into something far larger than it truly is. Yet, when you confront fear directly, it dissolves like mist under the morning sun. Most fear is not rooted in the present moment. It is the mind projecting itself into an imagined future, anticipating pain, failure, or loss. You fear not the event itself, but the story your mind has created about it. You imagine the worst-case scenario, and in doing so, you begin to experience the discomfort of that imagined reality as though it were happening. In truth, fear is rarely about what is, it is about what might be. The illusion of fear can control your actions, keeping you in your comfort zone. It tells you to avoid risk, to stay where it is safe and familiar. But safety is a double-edged sword. While it may protect you from discomfort, it also prevents you from growth. Life is not meant to be lived in retreat. True living begins when you step into the unknown, even when it feels uncomfortable. Overcoming fear begins with awareness. Observe your fear without judgment or resistance. When fear arises, ask yourself, what is it I am truly afraid of? Is this fear grounded in reality, or is it a creation of my mind? By questioning your fears, you begin to strip them of their power. Most fears, when examined closely, turn out to be shadows, distorted reflections, not solid truths. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act despite it. Each time you face a fear and move forward, you grow stronger. The fear that once seemed insurmountable diminishes, replaced by a sense of resilience and empowerment. Fear loses its grip when you realize that you are not fragile, you are capable of adapting, learning, and thriving no matter what happens. Another way to overcome fear is to shift your focus. Instead of fixating on what you might lose or what could go wrong, focus on what you might gain. Every challenge, every risk carries within it the seed of transformation. By embracing the unknown, you open yourself to new experiences, opportunities, and growth. Life expands when you stop allowing fear to shrink it. Fear is an illusion, but it can feel very real. Yet, the moment you recognize its illusory nature and refuse to let it dictate your actions, you reclaim your freedom. What lies beyond fear is not just courage, it is the boundless potential of a life fully lived. ChatGPT said, ChatGPT courage is not the absence of fear, it is the willingness to move forward despite it. Fear whispers of danger, failure, and uncertainty, seeking to keep you stagnant, locked in the illusion of safety. It convinces you that staying where you are is better than facing the unknown. But life itself is a constant flow, and to remain paralyzed by fear is to resist life's very essence. Choosing courage over paralysis is the path to freedom, growth, and fulfillment. Fear is natural, it is a survival mechanism hardwired into us to protect against real threats. But in modern life, most fears are not about immediate danger. They are imagined outcomes, mental projections of what could go wrong. These fears create a prison, one made not of walls but of hesitation, doubt, and avoidance. The irony is that the more you try to avoid fear, the more it grows, feeding on your inaction. Courage begins with a choice. It is not something you wait to feel, it is something you decide to embody. You don't need to eliminate fear to act, you need only to take the first step despite it. That first step, no matter how small, disrupts the cycle of paralysis. Each act of courage diminishes fear's grip, building momentum and confidence. Paralysis often stems from overthinking. The mind cycles through endless possibilities, calculating risks and weighing outcomes. While reflection has its place, excessive analysis can lead to inaction. Courage requires you to trust not only your mind but also your intuition and instincts. Sometimes the path forward is not clear until you take the first step. Action itself reveals the way. To choose courage is not to guarantee success, but to embrace the process. Failure is not the opposite of courage, it is part of the journey. Each setback is a lesson, each challenge an opportunity to grow. When you reframe failure as a stepping stone rather than an end point, fear loses much of its power. You begin to see that even in falling, you are moving forward. Courage is contagious. When you act boldly, you inspire others to do the same. Your willingness to face fear not only transforms your own life, but creates a ripple effect, encouraging those around you to rise above their limitations. This shared strength amplifies, creating an environment where growth and possibility flourish. Choosing courage over paralysis is not about recklessness or blind leaps. It is about stepping into discomfort with awareness and intention. It is the understanding that life's greatest rewards often lie on the other side of fear. Whether it is pursuing a dream, expressing your truth, or facing an uncertain future, courage is the key that unlocks the door. Life will always present challenges and unknowns, but the choice is yours to remain frozen by fear or to move forward with courage. Each time you choose courage, you affirm your capacity to shape your own destiny. In doing so, you discover that the power to overcome was within you all along. Living in reaction is like being a leaf caught in the wind, constantly swaying with every gust, pushed and pulled by the forces around you. Instead of responding thoughtfully to life, you are merely reacting to it, driven by emotions, circumstances, and external triggers. This pattern can make you feel like a victim of life, as though you have no control over your own actions or choices. But the truth is, the power to shape your experience lies within you. And it begins when you stop living in reaction. Reactivity arises from conditioning old habits, unresolved emotions, and unconscious patterns that dictate your responses. When something happens, you don't always act from a place of awareness or intention. Instead, you react out of habit, fear, frustration, or desire. This automatic response can be deeply limiting. It creates cycles of tension, misunderstanding, and conflict as you act out of impulsive emotional reactions rather than from clarity and presence. The first step to breaking free from reactive living is awareness. Begin by observing your responses throughout the day. How often do you react emotionally to situations, whether it's anger, frustration, excitement, or even fear? Notice the triggers, what situations, people, or words tend to set off these reactions in you. By becoming aware of these patterns, you begin to recognize when you are operating on autopilot, when your responses are coming from old wounds, fears, or unexamined beliefs. Once you become aware of your reactions, the next step is to create space between stimulus and response. This space is where you reclaim your power. It's the moment when you pause, breathe, and choose how to respond rather than simply being swept along by your emotional impulses. In this moment, you can bring consciousness to your actions and choose a response that aligns with your true self and your deeper values. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes to live from intention rather than reaction. Living without reacting doesn't mean suppressing or denying your emotions. It means acknowledging them without letting them control you. Emotions are natural. They arise to give you information about your inner state, your needs, and your desires, but they are not meant to rule you. When you stop reacting, you stop allowing emotions to dictate your behavior. You learn to feel your emotions fully without being swept away by them. Choosing to respond instead of react requires cultivating a sense of inner calm and clarity. It requires you to step outside the turmoil of your immediate emotions and view life from a place of equanimity. When you are calm, you are more likely to act with wisdom, compassion, and thoughtfulness rather than out of impulse or defensiveness. This shift brings a profound sense of freedom, as you are no longer a puppet to your emotions or external circumstances. It also opens the door to deeper understanding and communication with others. When you stop reacting, you can listen more fully, understand other perspectives, and engage in more meaningful conversations. Reactivity often fuels misunderstandings and conflict, but conscious responses foster connection, cooperation, and respect. You become more adept at handling life's challenges with grace instead of being caught in the cycle of emotional turmoil. Living with intention also brings a deeper sense of responsibility. Instead of blaming external events or others for how you feel, you take ownership of your responses. You begin to realize that your reactions are not the result of what happens to you, but of how you interpret and engage with the world. This shift from reaction to conscious response empowers you to shape your life, to create the outcomes you desire, and to find peace amidst chaos. To stop living in reaction is to reclaim your autonomy, your peace, and your power. It is a practice of mindfulness, of stepping back from automatic behavior and choosing to respond from a place of awareness. In doing so, you stop being a passive observer in your life and begin to live consciously, fully engaged with the present moment, and open to the infinite possibilities it offers. Taking responsibility for your life is the act of stepping fully into your power. It is the recognition that, no matter the circumstances, you have the ability to choose your response and shape your path. Responsibility is not about blame or guilt. It is about owning your choices, actions, and even your mindset. It is the acknowledgement that your life, in all its aspects, is a reflection of how you engage with the world around you, and you alone hold the key to how it unfolds. Many of us spend our lives waiting for external factors to change, waiting for someone else to make us happy, for the right opportunity to arise, or for life to be more favorable. We often look to others, parents, partners, employers, society, expecting them to define our reality. This external reliance creates a sense of powerlessness, as though we are victims of circumstances. But true empowerment comes when we realize that our lives are not determined by others or by events, but by how we choose to respond to them. Taking responsibility means acknowledging that your life is a sum of your decisions. Even if you have experienced hardship, pain, or adversity, how you respond to those experiences shapes your journey. You may not always have control over what happens to you, but you always have control over how you choose to engage with what happens. In each moment, you have the opportunity to decide whether to react with fear, anger, or avoidance, or to respond with clarity, growth, and strength. When you take responsibility, you stop blaming others for your problems or your unhappiness. This does not mean you deny the impact of other people or circumstances on your life. It simply means that you no longer give away your power to change your situation. You accept that in every moment you have a choice. You can choose to be proactive, to create solutions, to learn from your mistakes, and to take steps forward, no matter how small they may seem. Taking responsibility also means embracing your role in your own growth. It is easy to fall into the trap of blaming external factors for your lack of progress, whether it's the economy, your upbringing, or the people around you. But when you take responsibility, you understand that your growth is not dependent on the world around you, it depends on your commitment to learning, evolving, and taking action. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow, and it is your responsibility to seize that opportunity and use it to become a stronger, wiser version of yourself. This sense of ownership extends to your emotional well-being. It is easy to get caught in the trap of believing that your happiness depends on external circumstances or the approval of others. But when you take responsibility for your life, you realize that happiness comes from within. It is not something that can be given to you or taken away by anyone. You have the power to cultivate joy, peace, and contentment through your thoughts, actions, and perceptions. The world outside may be unpredictable, but your inner world is yours to create. When you take responsibility, you also let go of the need for perfection. You stop seeking to blame yourself for every misstep or to live up to some idealized version of success. Life is messy, and it is through the imperfections and setbacks that we learn, adapt, and grow. Responsibility does not mean you must always get it right, but it means you take ownership of your journey, whatever shape it takes. Every mistake is an opportunity to learn, every setback a lesson in resilience. This level of responsibility requires courage and honesty. It requires the willingness to face yourself without excuses, to be truthful about your own role in creating the life you live. It also means letting go of the victim mentality, the belief that things happen to you rather than for you. When you adopt this mindset, you begin to see the power of choice in every situation. Even in adversity, you realize that you are not powerless, you are the creator of your experience. To take responsibility for your life is to recognize your inherent power. It is a declaration that you will no longer be a passive observer waiting for life to happen to you. Instead, you become an active participant shaping your destiny with intention and purpose. You become the master of your own fate, the author of your own story. In doing so, you free yourself from the limitations of external influences and embrace the boundless potential of your own abilities. Surface illusions are the veil through which we perceive the world, the distractions that mask the deeper truths of existence. These illusions shape our beliefs, desires, and perceptions and often trap us in a limited and superficial understanding of life. On the surface, life may appear to be all about material success, external validation, and fleeting pleasures, but to dive beyond these illusions is to awaken to a profound depth of meaning and connection that transcends appearances. The first step in moving beyond surface illusions is recognizing that what we see is not all there is. The world we live in is constructed from layers of beliefs, conditioning, and perceptions that often cloud the true nature of reality. We are conditioned to seek happiness in the external world through possessions, achievements, or the approval of others. But these are fleeting impermanent, and ultimately unsatisfying. They are not the essence of life, they are mere reflections of it. Surface illusions often play on our fears and desires. We are taught to value success, wealth, beauty, and fame because they promise happiness, security, and status. Yet, when we attain these things, we find that they do not bring lasting fulfillment. The pursuit of external validation creates a never-ending cycle of striving where the next goal, the next achievement, the next acquisition is always just out of reach. In this chase, we lose sight of the deeper, more lasting sources of fulfillment that reside within. To dive beyond surface illusions is to shift your focus from the transient to the eternal. It is the understanding that true happiness does not come from what you possess or accomplish, but from how you relate to life itself. The peace and contentment you seek are not out there in the world, waiting to be found. They are within you, accessible when you quiet the mind, move beyond the superficial layers of the ego. This shift requires awareness. The next time you feel the pull of desire or the pressure of external expectations, pause and observe. Ask yourself, what am I truly seeking? Is this thing, this achievement, or this approval really what will bring me lasting peace? Or is it an illusion, a temporary fix for an inner void that will never truly be satisfied by external means? Diving beyond surface illusions also means questioning your beliefs and assumptions. Much of what we hold to be true is a product of the society in which we were raised, the culture we belong to, and the conditioning we've received. These beliefs form a lens through which we view the world, but they are not absolute truths. By challenging these beliefs, we begin to peel away the layers that obscure our perception of reality. We realize that life is not confined to the narrow definitions we've been taught, but is an expansive, limitless field of possibility. As you dive deeper, you begin to see that true fulfillment comes not from achieving more, but from letting go of the need for constant validation or external success. It comes from cultivating a sense of inner peace, from knowing that you are enough as you are, independent of what you have or what others think of you. When you are not constantly chasing the next illusion, you create space to connect with life in its fullness, to appreciate the present moment, and to experience the beauty and joy that already surround you. Moving beyond surface illusions also invites you to confront your own fears and insecurities. Many of the illusions we chase are built on the desire to protect ourselves from the vulnerability of being real, being authentic. We fear that without the masks of success or approval, we will be exposed, inadequate, or unworthy. But true freedom comes from embracing vulnerability and stepping into the fullness of who you are without the need to hide behind illusions. When you stop living in pursuit of surface illusions, you begin to experience life more authentically. You are no longer driven by the need for validation or the constant chase for more. Instead, you live from a place of awareness, of being fully present in each moment. You connect more deeply with others, with nature, and with yourself. You begin to see the world as it truly is, not as a collection of things to acquire, but as an interconnected whole, full of depth, meaning, and beauty. To dive beyond surface illusions is to peel back the layers of falsehoods and discover the truth that lies at the core of existence. It is to see beyond the material, the superficial, and the transient, and to experience the timeless, the eternal, and the boundless potential of life itself. When you let go of the illusions that keep you trapped, you open yourself to the infinite possibilities of a life lived in truth and freedom. When you choose to dive beyond surface illusions, you unlock a life of depth and clarity. You no longer chase fleeting dreams or allow external forces to define you. Instead, you become rooted in the timeless truths that lie beneath the surface, and in that space you discover true freedom. As you shed the layers of illusion, you become more connected with your authentic self and the world around you. Life, in its raw and unfiltered form, is not about what you accumulate or what others think of you. It's about the depth of your awareness, the authenticity of your experience, and the peace that comes from embracing life as it is. When you live beyond illusions, you live in truth, and in truth, you find the fullness of life.